Hi there, good evening. It is Jim. It is I, although you cannot see me. What you are seeing though is a very quick 360 spin around view of my studio. So this is where I do all the videos, all my music, all sorts of stuff. This is kind of my place. This is where I like to be. And a few people have asked, specifically just today, about what's going on in here. What's it look like? Let's show us your studio. Do a studio tour. So I thought, well, I really never have done this before, and I thought it might be of interest to some people. I guess a lot of people are not going to be that interested in this at all, but if you are, then here we go. This is a studio tour, so you can see what we've got, and I'll sort of talk a little bit about sort of everything we've got here as we go along, and yeah, go from there. So I guess start off. Come in here. This is a converted garage. And this is kind of what I call Compost Corner. It's really not the most exciting, interesting place at all. We've got a redundant, well, it's not a redundant, it's just not being used at the minute. It's a refrigerator. So at Christmas time that gets filled up with beer and excess food for the family. We've got people coming over to stay, but most of the time it's not plugged in. I've got a load of old, this is old redundant hi-fi gear, so I've got a couple of speakers there, my old amps, 2 CD players that don't work, a tape deck that I think works but I can't remember, a really knackered old turntable, stuff that I really should be getting rid of, but I just haven't got around to doing so yet. This is a collection of so camera tripods, a couple there. There's a mic stand, and then that's a video light. That's the old one I used to use all the time. Actually, I've now got some new ones, so I don't really use that one, which is probably not a bad thing because it was cheap and cheerful and prone to collapsing. Right, so next, oh, the poor plant. I keep treading on it because it's the leaves kept trailing across the floor here, and I keep treading on it when I come into the room. So this is next to the door here. This is my CD collection. If I start at the top here, my little man drawing. So these are mini discs. I've got not music that you would know, but this is all my bands that I've been in. It's every gig I've played. I recorded all the shows onto mini disc. Then I've also got there a load of my own electronic music which I recorded onto there. I used to have a 4-track mini disc recorder, which is now long since gone, but I still have got the mini discs and what have you. That was a card that was sent to me by Mark Lockie. He's one of the subs. It's a beautiful thing. It's his painting of the cover of, I think it's a photo or a picture that's inside Now It's Dark by Marillion in relation to care, and I think that was a really lovely thing. He sent that to me. And yes, as we say, these are CDs. You think I just play vinyl? Well, it's not. I don't know. I have CDs as well. And then down towards the bottom here, we've got DVDs and Blu-rays. Mostly music, but there are a couple of bits and pieces in there of the film as well. But that's all that. This is the mission control, I call it. Right, so move this grotty old chair out of the way. This is my what I use every day to sit on. So we have here, let's pull this out. So a desk with a sliding in and out drawer. It's got my MIDI keyboard on it as a controller keyboard. It doesn't make any sound itself, but it does control my synths, which I have many of. So I have soft synths which are in the computer. So it's an old iMac there. I've got a Akai sampler, and then I'll just turn it on so it'll light up. You can see that. That's my it's not a sound card. It's an audio interface. That's a Focusrite Scarlett This down here is it's a controller for Logic. So Logic is the software that I use for making music, and this controls all the different sort of, it's a mixer basically, but it's not, there's no sound going through it, but it is controlling what's on the computer, so it's using that. And there's also transport, so you've got play, rewind, record, you can scrub backwards and forwards, and you do all sorts of stuff with it. So that just stops having to point at everything with a mouse. So here we go, this is the main computer. You can see this is where I've been editing the Jethro Tull video from this morning. It's on there. 2 screens, it's much easier to work with 2 screens. And there's so much detritus on this, oh God, oh dear Lord. That's the little camera that I use for the pointing down onto the vinyl. Think of this is one thing I have so many pairs of reading glasses because I just lose them. I put them down and I forget where they are. So I've got about 7 pairs dotted around all over the place, and wherever I reach to, I seem to be able to find a pair. God, the state of this is terrible with cables everywhere. Got batteries for the camera, for that one, then batteries over there for the Canon, which is what I'm holding at the minute. So charging up on there. That's my phone, a little stand just sits on there. Different lenses, the lens that I use mostly for when I'm making the videos when we listen to vinyl. That clips onto the onto this camera that I'm using now, and it gives a really good depth of field. These are synths, so there's a Roland vintage synth module at the top, and an EMU Extreme Lead, and underneath there is another Roland. That's an Integra 7, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous sound module. And that actually, in its own right, has pretty much replaced every other synth I'd ever need. It's got thousands of sounds up there, and it's good. Over on this side, you might have seen the mic on the stand, which is what I use to generally record my vocals. So I'd be sitting down here, normally sitting facing the record player there, and have the mic sitting in front. That's how I do stuff. You can see this battered old chair, I'm having to repair it. Isn't that awful? Oh, Jimothy. Right, so over here, let's move the old water bottle out of the way and see what we've got. So this is my what I used to listen to music with. So most of you already know I've spoken about a few times. Just move that out of the way. That's today's thing. This is an Audio Technica AT LP 120 X USB. There you go. It's a record player. That's what you need to know, and it sends out audio to my computer. Although, actually, no, it doesn't. So initially I used to do that, but now what it does, I send it out via normal phono leads, which go into this, which is a Rega preamp, phono mini preamp, and it's awesome. This just boosts and cleans and makes the sound so good. It's lovely. If I'm not listening to music on the channel, I quite often listen to music obviously through speakers, and move these out of the way. So these are my Wharfedale Diamond speakers. I've got a pair of those, one on each side. The amp is a Denon. It's I've had this a couple of years. It's really lovely. PMA 600NE. It's not. For me, it's not cheap, but it's not high-end audio for that by any means at all. This is what most audiophiles would call budget stuff, but for me, it's absolutely adequate. Then I've got a CD player, which is paired with that. That's again, that's a Denon DCD 600NE. Blah 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 blah. You love the numbers, don't you? And then on top of that, this is a mini disc player. This is an old one. I bought this from eBay, but it's what I need for when I want to listen to the mini discs that I've got sat up there. So what else have we got going on over here? We've got, this is it's old technology now, but I love it. This is Yamaha AW4416. It's a 16 track, at least, multi-track recorder. So before computers became as powerful as they were, this was absolutely cutting edge. It was basically a studio in a box, and when it came out, it was bleeding edge technology. It was amazing, but it's just old now. It's old and redundant, but I love it. It is, for all intents and purposes, a Yamaha digital mixer as well as being a recorder. So you can just use it as a mixer, which is sometimes what I do, and I just haven't got the heart to get rid of it. A few copies of the prog lying around. There's a little iPad. I use that for pressing go on the camera when it's poking out over the top of there, so I don't have to reach over to turn the camera on and off. So that's a remote control, amongst other things. That's a cheap and cheerful guitar. Less said about that the better, because I'm not a guitar player, but I like to do things on it, and no one will ever hear it apart from me. That's another Wharfdale speaker. That's a sub bass, which makes the building shake. It's gorgeous. These are my drums. It's Roland TD25 digital sound module. Had them for quite a few years. Love them. In fact, I've retired my acoustic drums because I just don't have the space, and they're so noisy. I don't play in a band really anymore, so it's kind of, there's little point having them. So this does what I need it to do for me. I've got that's a speaker, so if I don't just want to listen to headphones, I can listen to the drums through there. A couple of synths. It's a Korg Trinity and an old Yamaha SY22. Oh, they're such old stuff. They're from the late 80s, early 90s. Here, this is now the newly categorised and moved record collection. So you've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you just follow it through. So you've got Iron Maiden in this section, but I've also got my little Eddie there. Say hello, Eddie. Not talking today. An animal. There you go. So these are all my LPs. Box sets, LPs, 12-inch singles. And then down in that corner, just that one little cubby hole, is a collection of 7-inch singles. That is a didgeridoo, which is, I love it. I mean, I just collect musical instruments. I can play that actually. Not that my wife appreciates that very much, but I do. So what have we got on the walls? So Pam, this is your gift to me from earlier in the year, the Awaken lyrics by John Anderson, now printed for posterity onto canvas. So that hangs there pride of place. And in fact, that's almost where it used to be. So the shelves there used to be just here, and that used to hang on the edge. So actually every video I made, that was just in the background. That's my Iron Maiden calendar. That's a painting by Schwarzy, which probably means nothing to anybody, but I loved it when I was in France and bought that 30 years ago. These are just little tiny little pictures. Now this is rather magnificent. This is the concert poster from Tool in Antwerp, and this was amazingly gifted to me by John. So I thank you so much for that. That's an amazing thing, and that obviously takes pride of place on this piece of wall over here. Oh, excuse me, madam. I'll move past that. This is my little initials. Oh, not initials. It's my name, Jim. Made out of the drumstick. There's a drum. There's a Cajun drum. This is a telephone. Genuinely it is, but it's not plugged in, doesn't work, so it's just there. Selection of little books, and then on top here is the Mars Volta box set, because that doesn't fit anywhere else, so it had to have a space all by itself. Along this shelf here, I've got various little sort of trinkets and souvenirs and gifts. There's a few cacti, bits and bobs. There's a few things that have been sent to me by Gabby as well. So the little moose and the cockatoo, whatever it was, I can't remember. It's that Lego bird, which I eventually did manage to make and stuff. So that's all cool. That's just a little shelf of things. Mirror. That's me. And this is my old band haze. This is one of our photos we had done. I need to remember what I used to look like before I got old and fat. There's me in the middle with my mates, and that was our band haze. And that's that. So there we go. That is a tour of the studio. Let's turn this around. So there. So that's the tour of the studio. This is. I hope you found that of interest, and you now know how it all works and what goes on in here and all that stuff. Is just I love it. It's my space. And since I've managed to sort of tidy it up a bit and get it all sorted out, it kind of feels much more comfortable. It's just a lovely place to be now, which is really what I want it to be. It's taken a long time. It's taken genuinely years to be able to sort of get this all together. A lot of effort and a lot of planning and thought gone into it. But really, it's the last year to 18 months where it's all sort of come together in this room, converting the garage as a massive project in its own right, and then getting this space specifically for this. So I think my wife really just wanted to get me out of the house as much as anything. So I think we have achieved that. And Pam, just for you wanted to know about this. This is the, let's turn this around so you can see it a bit better. This is the carved dragon that you were asking about. It's just, isn't it glorious? It's such a nice thing. I do not know where I got that. I cannot remember, but I've had it for forever. I think I bought it possibly from a car boot sale for £1, you know, something like that. Just really, really a ridiculous thing like that. But that's the truth. That's the truth. So there we have it. I hope you enjoyed that. A tour of Jim's studio. Yeah. So next video, I guess, will be part 2 of whatever that's called. What is it called? Oh yeah, thick as a brick. I'll see you guys on the next video, whenever and whatever that is. And until then, this is Jim over.